What's going on, everybody? Z here. Welcome back to some more Dune information. Yesterday, we had an AMA over on the Reddit for Dune. It is an Ask Me Anything. Basically, they answer all of our questions, and with what they say, you know, what's going on, things like that. So we're gonna be breaking it down. We're gonna be looking at it, and we're gonna see how this affects things, how it changes things for players, how what we can expect in the future. Hopefully you're all having a wonderful day. I'm having a fantastic day. We're going to go ahead. We're going to break this down and we're going to have fun doing it. So I'm going to say right off the get-go, I've read through almost all of this and there's a couple like things I'm going to highlight in here. I'm not going to go through every single question that was asked. If you're interested, I'll have a link to this down below. But my overall take is that if you were looking for anything for PvE beyond the tier 5 stuff, basically they said take a hike. No, they didn't say take a hike, but we're going to talk about it. The answers they gave does not instill confidence within me whatsoever. So let's go ahead and let's talk about, because this is the very first question, what quality of life plans do you have in the pipeline? What are the PvE plans in the near future? So we have an update and testing that contains a lot of quality of life stuff. That's cool. I'm not worried about that. I'm also not going to be covering PvP stuff because I don't PvP, so I don't care what they change with PvP. I'm not interested. Like many majority of the PvE players, they can change whatever they want in the PvP. I'm not going to experience it because I don't care, because I don't like it. I'm not going to explore that part of the game. So they can try and push as much as they want, but it's just not going to happen. For PvE plans for the future, each of our major updates will continue to add new story content and new PvE content, which will release at the same time as our DLCs. The goal is to have these release every 3 to 4 months. That means for PvE players, if you're going to go off of this content alone, that means there's going to be a 3 to 4 month gap between content. That is a gigantic problem currently because of how the current base in like the structure of the game is if you leave the game. Right now, you can only leave the game for a max of 30 days without losing everything. That's right. Your buildings get destroyed, your machines get destroyed, your inventories, your storages, everything gets destroyed. What is on your player and what is on your vehicle, maybe if you go and log out in Harco Village or something, that might be safe. And if you have something in the bank, if you go to the major cities, there's a bank, you can put a whole bunch of stuff there. If you're going to log out for an extended period of time, I recommend putting as much stuff in there as possible. But you only get 30 days to log out. Now later they say, oh, well, you have 30 days. You don't. That's a long time. That is not a long time to take a break from a game. Come on. 3 to 4 months between content and we're only expected to maybe leave for a month at a time? Really? Okay. So basically what's going to happen is people are going to leave and they're not going to come back because they're going to lose everything. So that answer, like whatever, cool, I get it. Do their thing. That's fine. Let's go ahead and let's look at, okay, so we've got, do you plan to add daily or weekly contracts for PvE solo players? Very good question. Most MMOs have a daily, weekly kind of stuff you can do. Currently, we have the Landsraad to offer weekly content for players to engage with. We have read the feedback about some tasks getting locked early, tasks being too hard for solo players, and feedback on the general rewards. We will make improvements to these features to make sure that anyone who wants to engage with the Landsraad can and feel like the rewards are worth it. In addition, we'll be releasing more PvE content with each major update, and we'll have more dynamic encounters in the game that will offer a variety of new content for you to discover as you're exploring Arrakis. I am later in the video, I'm going to go over what the Landsraad is. And the reason I'm going to go over that later is because they talk about the Landsraad a lot. I will tell you right now, the Landsraad is a bounty board. It's a contract board. Bring me X to get points. That's all it is. That is not an end game. That is not an end game. That is not any way, shape, or form an end game for PvE players. Bring me X resource and we give you points and we give you like some points in return. What? What do you mean? That's the end game. Like I said, we'll be looking at the Landsraad later, and I'm going to show you the problems with it as well. But like, it is literally a fetch quest board. That's all it is. Bring me this, and then you'll get points. It's silly. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. Let's see. What do we have here? So once you do all the contracts in Haga, there aren't any more quests to do. Are there any plans to add repeatable new contracts every Coriolis storm? Or are we just supposed to do with the not very engaging Landsraad tasks? So yes, there are plans to add new contracts across the board. In addition, the Landsraad itself is supposed to involve more contracts in order to reveal tasks for houses, as well as contracts that lead to the deep desert. Again, the Landsraad, the bounty board. Guess what? You have reached the end of the game. Congratulations. Now all I want you to do is fetch quests and just bring me stuff. That's it. That's all you want. We don't want dungeons. We don't want people raids. We don't want drops. We don't want any of that. We don't want that. No. We want a bounty board. That's all. That's it. That's the end game. That is the answer. And also a theme that I'm seeing here. And like I said, it's not gonna work because of like what I've seen. It's not my personal opinion. I still am enjoying the game. I'm still gonna be streaming the game for a while. Like there's still stuff that I want to do. I'm still having a fun time with it. And I'm not saying that the game is not fun, but what I'm saying is that it's misleading to the PvE players that got the game, because the PvP end game is not at all marketed to any extent. So players don't realize that they're putting all this time and effort into a game that has no end game. It has nothing to do in the end, which doesn't feel good. It's not great. That's my problem. The problem isn't the game itself. If they would add content to the game that is like every other MMO, repeatable dungeons, repeatable quests, things to go out and do stuff, chances for drops, like literally anything to physically go and do other than me bring you resources, I'd be all for it. But one common thing you're going to see is they're going to constantly push to leading players to the deep desert, getting people out to the deep desert. Oh, you don't have to PvP in the deep desert, but if people want to shoot you, they can. Really? Trust me, it's an answer. Okay, let's see. So I'm not gonna talk about the PvP stuff because I'm not really worried about that. Okay, so here's another thing regarding the Landsraad. Will you change Landsraad so that players can continue to contribute to it after it has been claimed? Our current plan is to allow your contributions to stack week after week so that small groups and solos can work towards larger rewards over time, and then adding more tiers of rewards as well as new activity drivers in the Landsraad. Again, you want us to continue week after week just delivering stuff to this contract board, and then we're going to get rewarded slowly over time for it as a solo player. You think a solo player is going to sit there week after week and just deliver stuff over and over again? That's not going to happen. People are tired. I get this compared to Once Human a lot. Also, if you guys are interested in a game that has a lot of PvP or a PvE that has a lot more content, I recommend Once Human. It's completely free to play. I enjoy it all the time. We're actually gonna be playing it this weekend. It's a fantastic time. Free to play, hop in, enjoy it, do whatever you want. I complain about Once Human not having an end game. I complain about there not being enough stuff to do in Once Human. We have silos, dungeons, raids. We have different difficulties. We have regular nightmare pro modes. We have drops. We have different builds. Like there's so much more content there that people want to physically go and do stuff, not just drop stuff off. That's what I'm having a hard time with this here. So here's also like our first little glimpse at like kind of the nail in the coffin here. But again, I wasn't really expecting anything. Are there any plans to implement something like faction-based warfare in the deep desert with a war map and such? The deep desert will always stay a PvP free-for-all area, but we might consider adding other locations that offer factional warfare. Cool. All right, but let's talk about here. Let me keep going here. All right, so one of the things that I'm excited about, can we have a deposit all or extract all button for water storages? We are working on it. I hate having to hit my mouse like 18 million times just to deposit liter John's worth of water. Can we increase the party size or remove friendly fire between guildmates? No, that's entirely the point. They want you to be able to shoot each other and whatever, which is hilarious. Can we make it easier to distinguish between players and non-player characters, especially in PvP zone? Nope, they don't want you to. Everybody needs to look like a target. Can we possibly be able to see other map locations? So right now, when you're in like the Haga Basin, if you wanted to like just look at the map of the deep desert that you currently have unlocked, or if you wanted to look at like the overworld map or something like that, you have to go there, which makes sense. But somebody asked if you could possibly switch between those, because I guess if you were like maybe in the Haga Basin and somebody's like, hey, I found this thing over here in the deep desert, and you want to pull up the map to see where they were, you can't do that, but there's no plans of doing that, so don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so next one. A lot of PvE players feel disheartened and discouraged by the current setup for endgame play, as PvP is basically forced on anyone wanting to advance in the game. Are there any considerations to adjust this or perhaps make resources available without having to delve into PvP? We will continue to make improvements to the Landsraad to ensure that it better serves needs of PvE players. The deep deserts itself will remain PvP as it is today, with a PvE area in the south. The PvE area in the south is basically just you can't get sniped right when you walk in the door. It's a safe area. There's not anything there. There's nothing to do there. There's no new resources there. There are a couple like silos and stuff like that you can go in there and partake in, but like as far as like the core resources that you need, there's nothing there. So no, cool. We're not going to get that. As a positive note, curious if there will be any boss fights, raids, or dungeons or activities like that. We will continue to evolve our PvE content, including adding boss encounters as part of future dungeons. Glad, thanks, you enjoy it. Okay, cool. That's exciting. Again, you're going to have to wait for that, so I don't know what you're going to do between them, but that's all right. Another really good question. Will you be adding daily or weekly quests to the mission boards at the trading posts? No. Currently, there's no plans for the mission boards, but we'll consider it in the future. Landsraad does offer weekly tasks that have personal rewards. We have some content in the pipeline that might offer some repeatable quests. They literally have bounty boards at all these trade posts that they could literally refill with repeatable quests. Go do things, go do stuff, anything, and that's not a plan, which is weird. Again, every other MMO like ever has that option. I thought it's kind of odd. When will you add a PvE version of the Deep Desert? We have no plans to add a PvE version of the Deep Desert, but we'll continue to expand the game with PvE areas. Cool. Is there going to be a PvE only option for people who want to farm end game materials, or is it always going to be something that you gate behind PvP? Our plan is for the Landsraad to be the end game PvE content. That right there. Our plan is for the Landsraad to be the end game PvE content. Their plan for PvE players is to give them a bounty board, a contract board, a fetch, just go get me stuff and return it. That's all it is. That's the end game. That's literally like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because I really, really enjoy the game, and I'm not just complaining to complain here. Like, and you know, they can do whatever they want. It's their game. Absolutely 100%. I have no ill will. Like, you know, I enjoy it and I just want to see it become successful. And I think there's a lot of people that want the same thing. What's frustrating is that they want the end game PvE content to be this super basic cheap bounty board thing that it's honestly super. Like I said, I'm gonna show you the Landsraad later. It is literally a board that has things on it, and for the most part, basically the first person to bingo wins. And that's their goal. That's their end game content. When they have this huge deep desert that has all of this possible PvE potential, there's literally nothing they would have to change with it except for disabling PvP. Players would love to go out there and fight against the giant sandworms, fight against the other sandworms. It's a race to see who gets the spice things first. All of that stuff is exactly what PvE wants. That is like they literally made a perfect PvE area, but threw PvP on it and ruined it for 90% of the community that plays this game is PvE. I'm convinced that maybe even more, 90% of the people that play this game are playing strictly for PvE. And this entire thing, it seems to me, is that they are trying to cater it to the PvP players. They would rather make that 10% happy than the 90% currently playing. Because what I'm getting from all of this is that their idea and their vision for this Dune game was always these large PvP driven events. We're going to have this huge deep desert area where players are going to fight it out for these resources, you know, all this stuff. It's going to be a fantastic time, all this stuff, which is all fine and dandy. But the problem is it was never marketed that way. The first 60 hours are a PvE experience. That's why people are having a problem. And in order to even have that PvP experience, you have to have the PvP players there to do it. Relying strictly on the players to make their own content, relying on the players to essentially be the content, only works if that's what the game is showcased as. This game on the Steam page does not say anywhere that the entire endgame is PvP. It's not Rust. It's not Escape from Tarkov. It's not those games. And if they wanted that kind of game, that's how they should have advertised it. They should have advertised it as such to get those players in the door. But they didn't. What they did, and I'm not going to make any claims here because I don't actually know, but I'm just going to state my opinion, is I think they were scared to say that the end game was PvP. I think they knew they would get more sales promoting a player versus environment experience than a player versus player experience. And putting it so far behind the game, you can't refund it. You already have all this time invested in it. That's my problem. That's where I am like, okay, why didn't you just be upfront about this? Like, be upfront that the entire endgame is PvP. Just tell us. there's nothing in there that would remotely get you to think that, hey, the entire end game, the entire thing you're building towards is going to be a giant PvP battle warfare thing. There's nothing in there. It's like just basically saying, hey, you're going to have these giant huge wars. It's going to be player versus player combat, all this stuff to get everything and to unlock all the resources. You're going to be fighting against other players. You're going to be none of that. It's none of that. They dance around it, and then they say PvP is always optional. All right, and then here it is. Here's like just the icing on the top for me. This was the thing that I thought was the funniest thing, and this is also, like, to me, this is the show of complete disconnect with what the community wants. Is there any plans for PvE players to be able to progress to tier 6 without having to do PvP? The answer: you don't have to engage in PvP, but you run the risk of meeting hostile players. There are currently no plans to change this for the deep desert. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Like, imagine going into a normal Rust server and like they're like, well, you don't have to PvP. Yeah, but the second I do anything, I'm gonna get murked. What do you mean I don't have to? I have to. Well, you don't have to. Are you kidding me? Are you like? I'm sorry, but it's like, that is a joke. I don't have to, but everybody can kill me. You know what I mean? Like you do have to engage because you don't have a choice. There's no way for me to say, okay, I don't want to PvP. You have to engage in PvP because you are PvP. Like, you don't have a choice. It's just the disconnect from this is kind of crazy. So there's the Reddit stuff. I'm not going to go through everything, and now I'm starting to get heated about it, but let's talk about the Landsraad, because the Landsraad, like I said, they keep pointing to this Landsraad, this all amazing thing that is going to be the end game PvE content. And again, they're adding content over the future, but the other problem with that is you can't leave for more than 30 days. If you do, you lose everything, and then when they add content, you're going to want to come back, but then you're going to realize, oh, all my stuff's gone. There's just so many, there's just this. Right now we have this mixture of like a perfect like PvE nightmare. And the only reason I care about it so much is because I believe so many people got into this not knowing it. All right, so we're in the game. Let's talk about this Landsraad that is let's talk about this Landsraad. So here's the Landsraad. If you go into your inventory, I'm going to tell you how to get there. If you go into inventory, you go to social, you go to Landsraad. Now, I believe in order to partake in this, you have to be part of a guild. I could be wrong. You might not have to be part of a guild that's been factioned, but we are factioned with Harkonnen, and basically this is our board. So every day or so, there is a potential task reveal up here in the corner. It says 3 hours and 23 minutes. Basically, what happens is, once the server resets, I believe it's like Tuesdays. I think it's Monday nights, Tuesday mornings, or whatever. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Mondays. I can't remember what day. Anyways, there's going to be tasks revealed, and your faction is going to be able to fill these quests. So as you can see, all of these right here, they're all grayed out because we have a potential reveal here coming soon. So we can't see what these are yet. But you can see these ones are already claimed by the House Atreides. So we've got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. There's none claimed by House Harkonnen yet on my server, but like, let's take a look at what some of these are, because this is your end game. This right here is your PvE end game. So kill Karab. That's a super easy one. You know what, that one's gonna be gone immediately. You know why? Because everybody they're doing Atreides, that's the first thing they're gonna look for. The problem with these is that they get the easy ones that people could actually participate in and do, they get finished so fast within the first couple of hours. So like the servers, for me, they update at like 2 in the morning and they come back online, I don't know, a couple hours later. Those easy tasks like that are gone within an hour, 2 hours. Because every kill you get 23 points. You have to get 70. You don't even have to get 70,000 points. You have to get, I don't know how this works, because it says the goal amount was 70,000, but they got 29,000. So I'm not sure, unless there was a control point thing holding, but basically that one's gone. Can't contribute to that anymore. Like, if I went and did that, I can't get points to that anymore for any reason. So what are some of the ones that we can do, like that are open still right now? Deliver scout ornithopters. You want me to deliver an entire scout ornithopter? That's insane. That's crazy. Even as a PvE, like a PvE solo player, are you going to be building scout ornithopters to deliver here? I mean, you get a lot of points. You get 1,824 points. But like, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Like, that's a lot of stuff. You absolutely could. That's not out of the realm. I'm not saying that's out of the realm. Deliver Regis Rapier. You want to know something funny about that? the Regis Rapier. Guess what? Guess what magical material that requires before you can get that? The Regis Rapier? Oh no, it requires plastanium. So guess what? PvEers, you're not going to be doing that one. So, sorry, not going to happen. What about this one? Let's look at this one. Oh, you could deliver Spice Melange and get 6 points. But again, you're a PvEer, so your spice that you get access to is those little tiny spots that everybody runs to immediately. So if you never made Spice Melange yet, it is 100 of the spice powder stuff that you pick up off the ground and like 750 water or something like that per one. You get 6 points per one you deliver. So for example, one of those little spice blowhole things in the Haga Basin, I normally get at max, if there's no one else there, I get 300. I get 3 of those. So I can make 3 of those per one of those. That happens rarely. And we get 6 points and we can deliver it, and we need 70,000 points or whatever have you. I guess you don't need, I don't know how much points you need, because the reason I don't know is because some of these say like they didn't even finish them, but they say they're claimed. Like this one was 701, but they're claimed. So I'm not 100% sure how these are working. All I know is if you deliver X, you get Y, you know? So there's that one. So what about this one? Deliver plastanium ingot. Again, a PvEer can't do that. Doesn't matter. So that one's out. Deliver sound trout leathers. That would have been super easy. Again, it says 0 of 70. So I don't know how they like did this without having any goal completed or whatever. Opafier gem. No idea. Again, this could also be control points because this is control point held by unknown. So maybe there's a control point that they could hold. But anyways, the problem here is this is not a PvE endgame. This is not what PvE players want to do. I don't want to just sit here at my base all week, making a whole bunch of resources just for the first day things open to try to go over here and dump it all. That's not a PvE endgame. It's not. There's no dungeons, there's no raids, there's no activities. People want things to do. People want things to go do with the gear that they made, with the resources that they've collected. They want things to go do. They want people to go fight. They want stuff to do. This is not an endgame. And to say this is an endgame is to me is an extremely poor excuse. Like this is like, it would have been better had they said, "Oh, we're working on an endgame." But saying the Landsraad was the endgame, like, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Let's see like some of these other ones. Hydraulic pistons. So you get 1 for every 14 hydraulic pistons. That, I mean, you can run. There's only one area on the map that you can run for hydraulic pistons. It is over here because we've needed them. Right here, hydraulic piston. This is the only area. And guess what? You want to know what's funny about this? It's a PvP area. Oh no, PvE players, you can't do that one either. Because if you want a PvE, nope. That is out for you as well. So anyways, like I said, I'm not ragging on the game. I like it. I still enjoy it. I'm still having fun. And I think a lot of people will still enjoy it. I think a lot of people are still going to keep playing it. I think what's going to happen, unfortunately, is in about a month, because I feel like it's going to be about a month's time frame before casual players finally hit that stage where they have to go to the deep desert. And they're not going to. Now, I know people want to argue. The PvP side of this wants to argue so much. They're not going to PvP. PvEers, most of them are not going to do the PvP because that's not what PvEers like. That's not what I like. I don't want to PvP. I don't care what kind of PvP it is. I don't want to do it because I don't enjoy that. That's not what I want to do. So I'm not going to. I'm going to go find another game that's going to take my time, and I'm going to go play that one instead. That's what people are going to do. And what's sad is that I hope they realize that before it's too late. I hope they realize that before they lose the majority of their player base. Because again, if they're riding on this whole thing that their design, their vision for the game is that it's going to be these large PvP warfares, that's fine. But you're going to have to do it with significantly less people than are currently playing, because most of those people are PvE players. So again, I don't have an issue with it. If that's what they want to do, that's absolutely in their means. I have no ill will here. This is just, we're just talking about it. We're discussing it. We're having a good time. Like I said, I'm going to keep playing Dune. We're going to stream it. We're going to still have fun with it for a few days. There's a couple other things I want to do, knock out, and just, check it out. But I'm getting to the end. I don't really have a whole lot to do anymore. I'm not PvPing. I'm not. I have zero desire to do that. So, also, the other thing that I want to say, because I keep getting comments and pushback and stuff like that, and people are always talking about it. Like, the Discord is crazy right now. Their Discord about people going back and forth on this is crazy. PvPers, need PvEers to enjoy their content. PvEers do not need PvPers to enjoy their content. That's the problem. The reason you're going to get so much pushback from the player versus players is because they need those PvE players to have their fun. I'm not saying all of them by any means. I'm not saying all PvP players like this. I feel like most PvP players want to only fight people that want PvP. That would seem right? Like, I only want to fight you if you want to fight me. That is what I feel like most PvP players are. However, the vocal minority here that is arguing so heavily about this and so arguing so much that, oh, we need this, is those people that enjoy ganking the solos. The people that enjoy killing the PvE players right as they come off the wall, right as they do that stuff. That's where a lot of these people get their fun from, and they don't want to lose that because their fun comes at the expense of somebody else, which I don't think is super great, and I think it should be addressed. But you know what? It is what it is. And like I said, I can make these videos, I can talk about it, I can share my opinions with you. If you enjoy it, if you enjoy this video, leave a comment. If you disagree with me, let me know. I'm not trying to argue anybody, but like I love discussions. I love talking about things, talking about stuff. Where do you think they could go with this? What improvements do you think they can make? Because, honestly, I hope that there's this new PvE content comes out. I hope they add some stuff to keep these players here, because a lot of people really enjoyed this game. A lot of people started playing and really enjoyed the PvE aspect of it, enjoyed leveling up, enjoyed exploring, enjoyed unlocking gear, really enjoyed that. And for it to take such a hard twist and make the entire endgame PvP, that's something that no MMO has done before. Every MMO prior to this, they have a PvE side to it, but it is never the main focus of the game. And the reason is because the main focus of the game, being PvE, is where the most of your players live. Most people enjoy the PvE side, not most people enjoying PvE. So to take that and to completely flip it and try to get people to do it, I just don't think it's going to work. But leave a comment. Let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm okay. I'll be happy. I'll be happy accepting it. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know. I know this is a long one. I'm winded. I get ranty and I start talking about a lot of things. But yeah, leave comments. Let me know what you think. And see you next time.